Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Paddle Talk Podcast. We've got a great show for you this week. It is stacked and packed with all kinds of news and views. So you're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned, and we're going to bring that to you right after this. But first, have to recognize our sponsor, Racing in the Dirt, bringing you the podcast every week. Racing in the Dirt comes to you out of Cleveland, Wisconsin, ready to take their over 50 years of experience to help you get your 2025 race season off to a great start and continue to make it one to remember. From chain drives, accessories, cut tires, paddle tires, wheels, to turnkey race cars, you name it, Scott, Shane, and the entire crew at Racing in the Dirt ready to take your 2025 race program to places it has never been before. So give them a call today, area code 920-693-2000, or you can find them on the web at racinginthedirt.com, or you can even find them on Facebook on the Racing in the Dirt Facebook page. So get a hold of them today, and let's have your 2025 race season be one to remember. That's Racing in the Dirt. All right. So our first segment today, we're bringing on Mr. R.J. Hefner from Hefner Fuel and Oil in West Virginia, and we're going to talk a little Texas mud drags. Now, Texas mud drags had a couple tracks coming up this summer that we don't know a whole lot about, and this is one of them, Maniac Mountain. Is that the actual name of it there, R.J.?
Yes, that is correct. It's Maniac Mountain. It's a haunted house, and they have all kinds of activities there. It's a pretty nice place.
Fantastic, man. Well, hey, why don't you introduce yourself to the folks? They all know Caleb and Johnny and Damien. Why don't you introduce yourself a second? And hey, before we get too much further, thank you so much for coming on with us this week. Great to have you in the house. And fellow Ford guy, we'll take all of them that we can get.
Yeah, well, I'm RJ Hefner. I'm from West Virginia here. I race a full-size Ford truck. That's pretty much me. I'm as you see me, as you get.
Hey, and just so everybody knows, the dude's got some pretty awesome t-shirts too. Just saying, throwing that out there, little shameless plug there. So, all right. So it is, let me get back to the dates here a second for Texas Mud Drags. It is on
July 26th.
July 26th. Yep. Is it 26, 27 then? Is that the Friday, Saturday that it is?
No, I believe it's only going to be a Saturday race.
Okay.
There's a big race in Jackson County at the Jackson Fairgrounds, West Virginia. It's got a pretty nice purse for it. It's heads up racing. You guys can look up that West Virginia Dirt Drags Facebook page and see all the rules and the payouts for that race. It's on Thursday, and then on Friday they're having their mud classes over there, which is a good payout also. And then on Saturday we're going to have the race here in Buchanan with the Texas Dirt Drag or Texas Mud Drag crew.
So wow, so that's 3 days of some pretty good heads up side by side racing. That's impressive, man. Anybody's looking to take a little West Virginia vacation, that may be a good time to do that. So, Caleb Mings, would you come if you had a door car? Now I know we're doing a lot of what ifs here. If you had a door car, would this type of thing interest you to come all the way to the East Coast?
Ooh, that's a long drive, but I will say with 3 days of racing, that does make it a little bit sweeter. You know, two facilities very close to each other there, and Texas Mud Drags always puts on a good show, and being able to do some local racing too. I think it might be worth it, especially with those payouts.
Yeah, no, absolutely. RJ, I believe a friend of the show, David French, is also involved with the West Virginia deal.
Yes, he's the president of the West Virginia Dirt Drags. But he's going to be, from me and him talking a little bit, he's going to be here in Buchanan too. So they're going to race their races they put on down there on Thursday and Friday, and then they're all going to come up here and race on Saturday with the Texas Dirt Mud Drags.
Cool. All right. So give us the 5,000 foot view of the track. How many acres we talking? What kind of shutdown? What do you have? Concession stand, all that kind of jazz.
Yes, so it's 1,100 acres of land. It's very easy to get to. It's very easy to get in. It's very easy to get out of. It's huge. There's a big meadow for parking. There is 2 hillsides on both sides for seating. There'll be concessions there. There'll be all kinds of stuff there. We had a couple races there a few years ago, and they was a very good payout and had very good turnout. The guy that owns the property is a pretty good friend of mine. Me and him went to school together. Whenever Texas Mud Drag reached out to me about wanting to put a race on in West Virginia and asked about a place that could handle everybody and had everything that they needed, that was the first place that come to my mind. The track is laid out really nice. We're actually doing some more work to it as we speak. The shutdown is phenomenal. I mean, it's got a nice, when you come out of the end of the track, it's got a slow rolling slope of a hill. It rolls up, nice big open. I mean, I raced my truck out there, and I literally, when I come out the end of the track, I shoved my truck up in neutral and didn't even hardly have to touch the brakes, and it just slowed way down. I mean, it's almost, you couldn't ask for anything better. You guys race and know how that is. Getting shut down sometimes is a little hairy. But it's very nice. Buckhannon is a nice small town. It was at one time it was rated like 5th in the nation for the best small towns in the world or the United States. We've got some pretty cool attractions and amusements and things around people to do and see, and several places to eat. Got the oldest Dairy Queen, the oldest original Dairy Queen in the United States is still here. Just saying.
That's awesome. I love it. Okay, before we get to it further, John Sorg, I saw your mouth open up when he said 1,100 acres. Now, you and I are used to racing at Silverback, which is what, 45?
30.
30.
It's 30. You said 1,100. You said you can get in there and easily get in there. I think you can get in there and easily get lost on 1,100 acres. You don't know my crew.
Oh God, I can only imagine.
That sounds like a riot all wrapped into one.
The golf cart shenanigans.
So I was going to say, for those of you that don't know, the John Sorg golf cart shenanigans in the wee midnight hours are somewhat legendary in the Midwest. So he's not wrong when he says get lost. I get this mental picture of Johnny showing back up to staging about 8 o'clock the next morning. When's the first round?
I've had to help put John to bed a few times.
The good old days. Life was good. I love it.
Dave Applegate, you're raising your hand. You got a question?
Yeah, I want to ask you. I've been to Buckhannon before. Used to do a lot of travel in West Virginia for a company called the Axle Surgeons. How close are you for the racers that are coming that might be able to spend a little bit of extra time and hit the Hatfield-McCoy trails?
So the Hatfield-McCoy trails are in the southern part of the state, and they're about 2.5, 3 hours south of us, roughly, give or take. It's about that far away. They have they do all kinds of stuff out there. The GNC races, the GNCC racing, they have that out there. The Mountain State Hare Scrambler, they run out there. It's
KOI Drag Racing actually has a race out there every year now, out at Hatfield.
Oh, at Hatfield-McCoy. I'm talking here in Buck. They do.
Right. I'm just saying, in the state of West Virginia, there's a lot to do.
There is. A lot of people miss out on a lot of scenery that it's just some of it. I mean, I was born and raised here, and I was born here and raised in the South and come back, but there's so much a person misses when they don't see it. And then when some people say they're just in awe.
Oh, it's beautiful down there. Absolutely stunning.
Damian Bowers, I can tell you are coiled up like a puma, ready to go. Unleash your inner squirrel. What do you have to
The
say?
squirrel ready to jump.
Again, you had mentioned they had done that race a couple of years ago. You can find the videos for that on Hillbilly Proud. I've dug them up before for these guys here. What are some of the big changes from a couple of years ago that you guys have done that have been done to the facility?
So we're actually, the track itself, each lane was about 30 foot in width. And they was actually racing side by sides down each side of the track. So when you seen the side by side running, that was actually a single lane of the track that they was running on. But to answer your question, we've actually removed guardrails on the outside, and we pulled all the posts, and we're actually going to make it even wider. It's going to be even wider now. So I'd like for both lanes to be 40-foot wide minimum. That's my goal. It might be a little wider than that. That's where
that'd be awesome, especially the level of cars that are looking to be there.
So, we've had some very fast rails run there at track, and seen some very fast times run there with the way they was. I mean, you guys had a video of Vic King's rail there, and a lot of people don't know that rail is probably one of the fastest rails. At one time, that setup, it held records. When Jeff Goldeisen had it, it was in a car called Ground Pounder. Big screw-blown Hemi motor, and I've seen it go 1.6s and 150 feet and 200 feet. So and he run there, and he had no trouble at all. So I don't see anybody having any issues at the track. I think everybody will be very, very pleased.
What's your soil consistency? Is it like a heavier clay, or is it more loamy, or what could somebody expect coming there?
So it's a clay, and we've actually the guy that owns the property, between the first race and the second race that was ever out there, he actually had sand hauled in, and we mixed sand in with the clay. That track had a lot of hook in it. It had a lot of hook in it. It was very good track. Then there's water there at the facility. If we need watered, it's right there. So if it needs watered, we can water it. We've got all the machinery to do everything he does. So
I'd say, what do you use for a soil finisher and everything for grading?
So the guy that owns the place, he got 2 tractors we run out there before. He had a disc, and then he had a tiller, and he had a harrow to work it too.
Yeah.
It was. I've raced a lot of tracks all over, the East Coast, and it's not because it's in my hometown and I'm trying to talk it up or nothing, but it was a very nice track the way he had it before. They had built a jump, and they had jumped a pickup truck at one of the races. They built a big ramp, and they jumped a brand spanking new Dodge TRX, one of them TRX Hellcat trucks.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's videos on Hillbilly Proud of that. He jumped it, and when they built the ramps, it was in between the shutdown. So the one side of it was on one side of the shutdown, and the landing ramp was on the other side of the shutdown in the other lane. And I wasn't too happy with that, but it worked out great. I mean, we had no issues.
Wow.
Now, just for some of our guys being here, you're the only person really that we talked to that has been to both facilities. Since you're saying it's more of a clay base, how would you compare it to, say, Brookville at the end of last year?
A lot more hook than Brookville. A lot more hook.
Oh,
in the
easy,
sand dragging
Damien,
world.
easy. There's other
That's a
tracks in
bold
this
claim in the
country other
sand
than
drag
Brookville
world.
out there. I hate to break it to you, but once you leave the nest, they're out there.
That's my feeling.
Hang on, I'm gonna go get my bag of popcorn so I can.
Brookville's a nice track. I enjoyed racing there. I plan on coming back. Everybody always talked about how much hook it had, and I didn't think it had as much hook as I was led to believe that it had. If you want that's just my opinion on Brookville.
I think, maybe, and maybe the way they prep it could be changed a little bit to help it too, a little bit. I don't know.
Very true.
It was
RJ, I'm a firm believer in those clay tracks with, like you said, some sand in there. Because a lot of people say, you just got to have more clay. But
No.
you get too much clay, then you don't have enough to really dig into. It gets too packed down, you know. Yeah, I mean, Damien, you saw that a few times at Dome Valley when you came out here at Arizona. And, you know, it's a similar situation with a lot of clay tracks. So you get a little bit of sand mixed in there. It keeps everything kind of still loose, but you have that heaviness that, you know, you can really grab at and not hit that hard pan concrete. That's a good combo. And like you said, it sounds like the equipment that they have is really good at keeping all of that broken up and mixed in.
Yes, it was, like I said, the 2 races we had there. It's been, I think 2022 was the last race that they had out there with full size stuff. And they've raced some side by sides and full wheelers a few times since then on the track. But that's the last time anything full size with a lot of power was on, I think was 2022, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Sweet. No, I'm digging it, man.
All right, sounds like it's going to be great.
Yeah. More questions for RJ before we let him go?
Are you going to make it to Cleves?
That's my plan, is to come to Cleves. I really look forward. That's another track that's on my bucket list that I've always wanted to run at. I want to see, you know, what the track's like and see if it's what I'm told it's like. And I hope that it surpasses everything that I've been told.
It's definitely a very unique surface.
That's what
there's a word for it. Yes, David Applegate.
Yeah. Around the track, what do you have around there? Is there hotels for people coming in? Is there restaurants? What do you got around the track?
Yes. So in Buchanan, there is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 hotels right in Buchanan. There's several restaurants. There's 2 Mexican restaurants. There's a CJ Maggie's that's very good. There's some mom and pop restaurants that are home cooked, homemade.
There we go.
Food that's very good.
Good breakfast.
Yes, there's a Huddle House too, breakfast if you want something like that. And then in West Virginia, there's hotels and all kinds of accommodations and food and everything there.
So how far is that from the track? Approximately.
What is it?
From the hotels to Buchanan, or Buchanan from the track, or whatever, from the nearest hotels, approximately.
About 5-10 minutes away from the track.
Very
nice. You're right there.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
The track is in Hodgesville, West Virginia, which is just north of Buchanan on Route 20. You come to Buchanan, you get on Route 20 north, you go to Hodgesville, and you can't miss it. When you turn right, you'll come out through there about, I would say, 3/4 of a mile, and you will not miss it. It's on the left-hand side. I promise you, you will not miss it.
Awesome, man. I love it. So, all right. I'm sure you have some sponsors that are helping make this happen, because that's how things work. Who do you got on board to help this take place?
We have a long list of sponsors. Some are saying they are on board. Some are saying they're going to wait till the closer to the race. We have Smitty Suzuki in Buchanan. They're sponsored. They're locked in. Performance Chevrolet, Jenkins Ford, Buchanan Toyota, Triple K Customs, which they do a lot of custom stuff. They do shows, truck shows, and build all kinds of custom stuff. You should look their Facebook page up. They have some sweet rides and build sweet stuff. There's several others. I'd ever put a list together. So that's where we're at. Adam Ringers Incorporated. He's the one that owns the ground. Maniac Mountain Haunted Houses also.
I hear there's a good VP dealer up there too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hefner Fuel and Oil, Hefner Motorsports and Racing. I've tucked this role on and decided I guess I needed to fill my plate a little more. And the Lord's blessed me.
Oh, man, that's awesome. I love it. Guys, anything else for RJ before we wrap this up?
I think we're
All
good.
right, sounds good. RJ, hey, man, thanks for coming on, giving us a little time here tonight. Great to have you on, and definitely maybe after the race we'll have you on again. We'll talk a little more, and yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. This ain't something I normally do, so I appreciate you guys having me come on. I just want to try to help this sport as much as possible, because everybody says it's a dying sport, but I look around and I see a lot of racers that have a passion for it.
Absolutely, man. No, I think you're 100% right. 100%. So thanks again for coming on. Caleb Mings, you want to take us out?
Yeah, I want you guys to go and take a look at worldsandragnews.com and click on our photo tab or scroll over to our Instagram page and you can click in the link in the bio. That's going to take you to our photo galleries. There you can go and purchase photos from digital prints to digitals to prints to metal prints, framed, unframed, you name it. All sorts of different options there to decorate your trophy case, get on the wall at your house, your trailer, the garage, wherever you keep your racing memorabilia. It's a great way to support what we do here at World Sandrag News, and helps us get out to a lot of these different tracks. And hopefully we can start doing some stuff more on the East Coast there with RJ as well.
Welcome back to the next segment here of the Panel Talk podcast. Appreciate you watching this week. And just a reminder, as always, this segment, just like every segment on Panel Talk, brought to you by our friends at Racing in the Dirt. Coming out of Wisconsin, Racing in the Dirt, your one-stop shopping spot for all things dirt, mud, and sand racing. Paddle tires, cut tires, wheels, bolt-ons, to complete turnkey builds. Racing in the Dirt, ready to help you take your program to the next level. So give them a call today, area code 920-693-2000, or you can find them on Facebook at the Racing in the Dirt Facebook page, or even at their own website, racinginthedirt.com. That's racinginthedirt.com. And the UPS Daily for all your last-minute needs. Racing in the Dirt. All right, gents, so we're going to wrap up this episode with some hot takes. We each have one to kind of talk about and everything else. We're going to keep it short, keep it light, not get too mired down in the details, but we'll have something to talk about. So, all right. John Sorg, you ready?
Sure, why not?
All right.
I got a little segment I'd like to start. It's called If You Can't Back It Up, Don't Bring It Up. I noticed a lot of people like coming on and I don't know, some guys have many buggies go faster than Aldards on the dirt, and they've got 1,400 horsepower and all kinds of stuff. You know what, guys? Don't be that guy. And if you are that guy, expect to get your ass bashed when you go on the website. just throwing it out there.
Have we ever truly witnessed a 1,400 horse mini buggy? I'm just asking.
Oh, I'm sure somebody's got some hillbilly hodunk thing out there that's got 1,400 horse on a radio flyer or something, but nothing that I know of, nothing that I've heard of. But it's a mini buggy. I believe it's an 1,100, but somebody can correct me. 900, 1,100, 1,200, whatever. I can guarantee you it's not 1,400 horse. That I can assure you.
Horsepower, CC, it's all the same, right, Dave?
I mean,
yeah.
Depending on where you went to school, yeah.
Dave, I think we should petition that. If we could get to the point where we've got a horsepower per CC, man, we'd be doing something here.
Damn it, you beat me to it.
I'm gonna have to require if you go on here and talk shit, you have to have a time slip to back it up. Come on, people.
Hey, man. Preach, John, preach.
Back it up.
Oh, I like it. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Dave Applegate. Let's have it, buddy.
All right, mine's real quick and simple. I'm excited this year about the 4x4 ATV classes that myself, a couple other guys, and Caleb was definitely a big part of. We started last year with a 4-wheel drive. Again, these are 4x4 ATVs. And that is our kind of our outlaw, if you will. So in my series, it's called Outlaw 4x4 ATV. In World Sand Drag News, it's considered A. And then we also have B 4-wheel drive, which is our naturally aspirated. Both these classes, since we started this last year, the amount of people that are building engines right now, I would have never dreamed. Anywhere from Greg Laughlin at Mr. RPM, Jeff Ross, Top Shelf Performance, which is Casey Smith. I mean, it's amazing. I'm looking right now at some of the some of the people that are building these engines and putting them together to get ready to run those classes. I'll be honest with you. I think we're going to see some 360, 370 runs at a 4x4 ATV this year. I truly do.
Nice.
Wow.
Yes, without a
That's
doubt.
gonna be awesome, man.
Yes.
And for anybody that's thinking, hey, that's not super quick for an ATV, we're talking a full, big, heavy utility quad, 4-wheel drive intact on these machines. These
That's
are not
fast.
your skeleton, titanium, lightweight Banshees
Nope.
out there.
No.
Nope.
We're talking bikes that probably the engine weighs as much as a complete Banshee build.
No
Yes.
doubt about it.
And
John
we had,
Story.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but I believe Jeff Ross brought his personal bike up to Michigan one time. And I remember that thing running pro ATV at the time. And I was like, what is that? I
Yeah.
mean,
It
full
was
plastic
crazy.
4x4 ATV. And that thing's carrying the front tires out past the 60-foot mark. It
Dude,
was
when they had
absolutely
Southern Power
nuts.
Sports, when Dave came this year with his series, there was a couple of them 4x4 guys that came up, and Dave's like, "Watch this," and I'm like, "Holy shit, them guys are hauling ass!" I did not expect that.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, and Jeff Ross, is the bomb racing. And I tell you what's really cool. Some of these guys, they all get along, but some of these guys kind of have little things between them, like any different engine builder or whatever, right? It's really amazing to see how these guys have now gotten together. They're working together, and they are building stuff together.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm telling you that this class is going to go places this year. I'm really excited about it. And I got to give a lot of thanks to Mr. RPM, Greg Laughlin, because he's the one that kind of came up with the idea. And then, of course, I got with World Sand Drag News, and we all agreed, and we done it. And it's just, man, I'm telling you, this is going to be something to see this year. Now, they're all not going to be 360s, you know what I mean? But there's a few that are coming out that I'm telling you, we're going to see some 360s. I almost guarantee it. It's going to be something to see. And that's my hot take. So hats off to all those guys, Top Shelf Performance, Mr. RPM, the Bomb Racing, and Blaze Middleton, and Dave Dunn actually is being a big help in that as well right now. There's another name that I don't think needs to be put out there yet, but it'll come out very soon. That is a name that a lot of people know, and once that name gets out there, it's gonna bring some people out to watch these guys. But yeah, hats off to you guys, man, for doing this. Greatly appreciate it. Can't wait for this year.
Fantastic, man. Looking forward to it. All right, Damian Bowers, what do you got for us?
All righty. So coming up May 23rd, 24th, 25th, Gravelrama rounds. Not doing a sand drag. They're doing mega trucks. Friday night, they're doing barrel races with the mega trucks and an open invite side-by-side barrel racing event. So I'm guessing that's going to be fastest time wins. Yeah, you better be able to make turns, Dave.
Well, yeah, it probably wouldn't work out too
I
well
mean,
for
you
me.
might beat them to the first barrel, but I don't know how quick you're going to make it around it.
That'd be ta-dum.
Now, this for the mega truck side of things, this is invite only, so they do have several on the flyer names, such as Hostile, Whopperjaw, Secret Weapon, Mudslinger, Slime Time, and Eliminator. They're going to be doing a mega truck course race of some sort. I don't know what the course is going to be, how they're going to set it up on Saturday, and monster trucks as well. But the big news on that is this is only the third time I know of that outside of Gravelrama, they're going to have a competition on the Eliminator Hill. Back in the mid 80s, they had the monster trucks climate where USA won and Bigfoot, most famously Bigfoot, going over it first. And then a few years ago, they did a kind of cut tired bounty hill thing where if you made it over the top with cut tires starting at the base, they paid a bounty for it. Nobody claimed that bounty from what I understand. But they're going to have side by side on the big Eliminator Hill, mega trucks climbing.
That's going to be pretty dang wild.
Yeah.
Side by side might get a little sketchy there.
What's that,
sure.
Dave?
So Steve Angle Jr. has got a lot to do with that race, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
Damien, I don't know if you know Steve. But
He's raced with us for years.
yep. So I've known Steve for a long time. We knew his dad, we knew his stepmom. Long story there. Some of you that may know what happened there, we won't go there, but I've talked to Steve quite often, and he was 20 minutes from my house actually, just like 2 weeks ago doing one, and I didn't even know he was there. So that kind of sucks. I miss seeing him, but I wish I could get there because I'd love to watch him do it. So yeah, Steve Engle's got a lot to do with it, man. Good job, Steve Engle, and hopefully we can get you on here one day.
Fantastic.
We may look into trying to get him on here closer to that race.
Yeah.
I can
That's
definitely make that call, and I can get with him, and you tell me when, we'll get him on.
Sweet. Yeah, and that race is Memorial Day weekend. So if you're looking for something to do, you're in the greater Cincinnati area or the greater tri-state area, as you might say down there. Plenty to do, and definitely be worth your time coming over to the Gravelrama grounds and checking that out. So, Damian Bowers, are you thinking you're going to go?
All things considered, I'll probably make my way down there, hang out, see what's going on. Who knows? Maybe get some pictures while I'm at it.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. So, all righty. Caleb Mings, are you able to give us a hot take?
Yes. Well, sorry, my background is not working, but oh well. So the hot take is now that we're finally in April, topic that has been kind of in the back of my mind. We have, really just 2 tracks left here on the West Coast, not including Pacific Northwest. We like to be a little bit south of that. 2 active tracks with Avenal in California and Dome Valley in Welton, Arizona. And they both have a race scheduled for the last weekend of April, the 25th through the 27th. This is something that very early in the 2024 season, Dome Valley came out with a schedule. And my first thing is like, hey, isn't that typically when Avenal has their spring nationals? And lo and behold, yes, it is. And that is something that for those of you that have been around here on the West Coast, Avenal Sand Drags does 2 events every year. It's always a spring race and a fall race. And those fall usually the last weekend of April and the last weekend of October. Those are kind of their set in stone schedules. And they didn't come out with their official schedule until much later in the 2025 calendar year. But it's one of those things where we got sand drag tracks kind of battling on top of each other. Now, there's obviously going to be some people that are locals to the Yuma area and stuff for Dome Valley. There's going to be more your Central and Northern California people for Avenal that don't really have a lot of cross-pollination between those tracks. It's just too far of a drive between them. But there's a lot of people stuck in the middle that now have a decision to make. And I'm just glad I'm probably not going to be one of them because I'm going to be having a baby here and not having to make a decision. But it's going to be one of those things where I am worried that it's going to kind of both tracks are going to see people that would typically be there are going to go to one or the other, whether that's just, Dome Valley's got their point series, so maybe some people are going to be enticed there. It might be just whichever's closer to them. There's a lot of people that are kind of in the Bakersfield area. Avenal's very close to them, so they may not want to drive all the way to Arizona for a race when they can literally go 40 minutes down the road. And just is kind of a bummer. So I want to hear from everybody that watches the podcast. If you're one of those people on the West Coast, let us know which track you're going to and the reason why. Is it the type of racing, the point series? Is it just what's closer? Is it your friends are going? What's up?
Very nice. Nice. So my hot take this week is what we saw this weekend down in Mexicali. Now, you may be asking, what happened? Well, you may have also seen the video that we posted up of Tommy Zavala taking the Project X altered to a 305 and letting off very early. He actually told me he felt he was out of the throttle almost 3/4 track. So that is moving for that thing, especially with a car that said, from everything that I had heard and from what people had said, the best passes out of that thing were 330s, 340s prior to that. And to go 311 right off the trailer and back it up with an 05, that's legit, folks. That is not some voodoo hocus pocus stuff. That is a guy that getting his feet wet and really starting to step into his own tuning wise. And Tommy, and oh, by the way, maybe a little name that we all know, Mr. Joe Betancourt with some sweet whispers on that tune-up, helping that out. And if there's one thing Joe Betancourt knows, it's how to make stuff go fast. So congratulations to those guys. Really cool to see. And, from what I've heard, you folks at Atoka might get a real up close and personal view of that car coming up here at the end of May. So we'll see if that. And but that would be really, really good to see. So Damian Bowers, I saw you had your hand up.
One of the biggest things I'd say was probably a big gain. I don't know how many people notice this. Almost every time you see that car out, it's got these massive bigger digger tires on it. Yeah, they're good for hook, but I'm pretty sure they had Tommy's scoopers off the back of his dragster on that altered. It probably picked up a lot in the mile per hour department on that.
I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't remember what tire it had on it.
It did have the super scoopers, and to be honest, they do look like Tommy's tires on there. I don't know if it's just the tire thing. I do know that they definitely took, some of that Joe Betancourt tune-up. Obviously, the engine combination in this is very similar to Tommy's dragster as it currently sits, and Mr. Betancourt's been helping him out a lot with kind of figuring out the ways of the Hemi. And I think it's a lot of it is the tune-up in that. Some of it's definitely the tire, and it'll be interesting to see if they keep the scoops on it or back to the bigger diggers if that rumor you're talking about, Isaac, does indeed come true, and we see it in Oklahoma.
I was also told that they made a converter change before going down there, and that also he felt was very beneficial to it, making some hits. So anyway, congratulations to the whole team, everybody involved there. Tommy made sure when I asked him about it that he was not alone, that it takes a group to make it happen, and was really appreciative of it. So great looking car. I love it. It looks cool. I mean, that thing looks pretty awesome.
They need to put the body back on it, though.
Yeah, I was just going to say, but it's got to have the body back on it because that's what makes that thing look as cool as it does. So I do love that. All right, so that's our show for this week, folks. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share to your friends if you're on Facebook. We really appreciate it. And help us bring more content to you guys out there in the sand, dirt, and mud racing world. So, Caleb Banks, you want to take us out?
Yes. So as Isaac's saying, one great way that you can do to help support what we do here is to buy our photos. So go on to worldsandragnews.com and click on that photo tab. There you're going to see all of our galleries from past events, and you're going to have options to go and purchase photos. whether it be a digital download you can use on your social media feeds, small prints you want to just have around the house, to large format posters, metal prints, bamboo prints, canvas stuff. All kinds of really cool things is going to be able to deck out your place and show all your friends and family what you do. And like we said, it's a great way to support what we do. All those funds go directly back into helping us go out to all these facilities and keep up with the gear and stuff to be able to bring you guys more content. So go check out the website, worldsandrignews.com, click on that photo tab and buy some photos.